Love the music. It's got a bit of a groove. Love it. Hello, all you groovy people. That's right. I'm a boomer. I call people groovy. This is Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. With me from different parts of the world. Yes, very different parts of the world. We'll start with what do we go with? Age before beauty, time zone before time zone, east before west. What do we go with? Do we go with defending champions of the Ashes? Do we go defending champions of the World Cup? All right, we'll just go with Lisa first because it's almost midnight. Hello. Lisa
Hello,
Sthalekar
how are
joining
you?
us from Australia. Hoffa, how are you, Hoffa?
Yeah, good, thanks, Gaurav.
Any weapons around?
No weapons tonight. No apple, no knives. I know, disappointing. I might bring it out a little bit later.
What is this? Amateur hour? Come on, Lisa, up the game a bit. Come on.
I thought I'd just be a little bit more straight-laced because this is the first time I'm working with Michael Vaughan on Cricbuzz. So, I just thought I'd behave myself.
Michael Vaughan straight-laced? You got the wrong guy. And all the way from the UK, Michael Vaughan. Hello, Mr. Vaughan. How are you? How are you treating this accusation of being straight-laced? First up.
Very, very, very wrongly. First and foremost, I've changed rooms because I was in the bar and I thought my image was getting a bit of a battering. So I've changed rooms. Lisa, what time is it in Melbourne, by the way? I'm trying to wait. I think I've got the most sane time. It's only 2:30 in the afternoon here. What time is it in Melbourne?
12:30 a.m. Don't worry. It'll be fun when we come on for the post show. That will be around 4:35. You ripper.
The great thing with Lisa is Lisa's youth. So this is her prime hours of operation. She's youth.
Is it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I mean, for me, the post show becomes difficult in India because it's close to midnight. So I don't know. I really don't know how you're doing this, but good on you. But I have to tell you, Michael, last year she was in Australia and on one of the games that had the 2 super overs, right? She went straight for lunch after the show.
The sun was up. It was actually.
Yeah, well, the sun is down for one of the teams who, ironically, are called the Sunrisers. But it's not been good for them. It's been a very dismal season. Amongst the worst that a team has ever had. That's Hyderabad, of course, playing against Bangalore. And they've had one of their best. Bangalore doing a Hyderabad doing a Bangalore. Is it? Nah, not if you see the last couple of seasons, but you see rest of last decade, perhaps you would think that. We'll show you the points table and tell you what we're talking about. It is Bangalore that is in the stratosphere and Hyderabad who's, sun has set. They've won only 2 games out of the 12 they've played. For Bangalore, things are looking good. A solid play to be made for 1 and 2. They can't catch Delhi. Because even if they win their 2 games, Delhi will still be ahead of them on net run rate unless they do some gigantic win by an innings and 400 runs, which I'm told cannot happen in T20 cricket. I'm not sure. But there you go. For them, Bangalore, a chance to be 1 or 2. Are they even thinking about that, Michael? They should be, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you want to get in that top 2 spots for the eliminations. It gives you a better chance of making the finals. They've been excellent. Royal Challengers Bangalore for years and years. We've spoken about the quality, the star names. They always look on paper like they should be, getting towards the final stage of the IPL. They've never won an IPL trophy, which is remarkable. And when you've got Virat Kohli, you've got AB de Villiers, you've got Glenn Maxwell, those 3 on their own should be able to get aside to the eliminations, of which they look like they're going to do. And it's all about getting into the top 2 spots now. They found a bit. I'm still a little bit surprised where they bat AB de Villiers. I must admit, they bat him at 5. I can't quite fathom someone of that quality batting so low down in the T20 team. But they've done nicely. The Sunrisers, they just had one of those years. It's T20 cricket, and you can get on a roll in T20 and win every game, and you can also vice versa get on a roll and pretty much lose every game. And I think Johnny Bairstow is still their leading scorer for this year, and he's not in the UAE. That tells you how badly they've played.
Oh, wow, yeah, that is a startling statistic. In case you guys got startled, there's enough thunderclaps around me. Usually, Bangalore gets it.
Stomach, actually. You were hungry for dinner or something.
I am. It was a mix of both. One time was my
Okay.
stomach, the other two was nature. But that's the kind of sound that you usually get when AB de Villiers whacks one out of the stadium. They haven't got this from him this season, at least in the UAE. But your boy Maxi is covering up really well for that, Lisa.
Yeah, he is. And I guess that's been the real criticism from the pundits and the fans initially. And Michael touched on it as well about AB just sliding down. It's almost they've done what they need to do to get the best out of Maxwell. And we look at his IPL record, and it has been so poor for so many years, yet he would go for $1 million each year. Finally, he's found a home that he feels he's playing the same role he does in the Australian team. So that's why he's performing well. So they've got more out of him. And they feel, and we've heard Virat talk about the fact that AB is just a finisher. He can pick up where he left off. And this is a guy that hardly plays any cricket now. So maybe that's why we still haven't seen the best of him. It's going to take him a bit of time to get going. But I reckon he's due.
Well, it's about to finish, so we'd like to see the finisher because the league stage is about to finish. We're all AB de Villiers fans, so we'd like to see him. Michael, though, this point that we make of Maxwell and him gelling in this team. Now, I'm sure, I mean, you've played in a lot of teams, domestic, international as well. Sometimes you're just in a setup where things don't gel. Now, I don't want you to name them, but what are the factors that make it not gel? What are the things that can happen when sometimes it just feels a little out of sync?
Well, I think sometimes with players like Glenn Maxwell, because he's such a firecracker, he looks like he's got all the confidence in the world. I sometimes feel with those kind of characters that they don't have as much confidence as you think, and they really do need managing. And you can get yourself in a situation when that style of player is playing for a certain franchise and they just don't manage the person well enough. So they just expect him to go out there and play, and they don't quite tinker with his mindset, and they don't put him in the right positions, and all of a sudden he loses confidence. He looks like the kind of character that needs an arm around his shoulder quite often, and just needs telling pretty much day to day that he's a special player and he's a match winner, and we're going to use him in that match winning position. He's found that with the RCB team. It looks like he's having fun. I think he's, again, that kind of cricketer that I don't think he wants to be playing in a serious environment. I don't know him hugely, but I hear that, he likes this fun element of the game. He likes playing with a smile on his face. And over the last few games in particular, he's certainly been playing with that smile. He's playing with that freedom. And he seems to have found a role in the RCB team, which is suited them. It's suiting him. He's a wonderful player. I mean, I said the other day about Ravindra Jadeja, if you were picking a T20 player, you kind of model it on that kind of style of player. And Glenn Maxwell's very, very similar. He's got everything. Brilliant fielder, can offer you overs with the ball at the right time and with the bat. He can play a 20-ball innings, 15-ball innings that can chase the course of a game. He's a brilliant cricketer, and he's found me. It has been difficult for him in the IPL, and I just wonder, because the IPL, I think, is the most pressurised tournament in the world because of what's at stake. You have one bad game and then another bad game. It really builds up in players' minds because they know that they could be missing out on a huge amount of fortune. But if you get on a roll, which Glenn Maxwell has found with the RCB, there's no stopping a player of that quality.
There's also, I mean, you talk about Hyderabad and having a season where nothing goes for them. Testament to the fact that nothing is going for them, Kane Williamson has lost the toss to Virat Kohli. Virat is famous for losing tosses. Right?
That's when you know things have gone down the gurgler, don't you?
Yeah, really. So Bangalore have won the toss and they've decided to chase. So you're going to have Hyderabad batting first. I don't know. Right now they need one win to not finish kind of joint lowest with, what was it? I think it was Deccan. It was the Hyderabad team
Chargers
in 2008, which was Deccan. And then the Daredevils in 2014. Both those teams don't exist now.
Don't worry.
Only two.
They'll come back.
Whatever.
You just look at that franchise and look what they've been able to do over the period. And like Michael said, just things didn't work. Something wasn't quite right behind the scenes, and it showed glaringly obvious on the field. So a few changes in personnel, no doubt. Big auction next year, and they'll be right.
Yeah. I don't even know. Sometimes you feel like, could they do what maybe Knight Riders did after, the first 3 seasons for the 2011 auction? They just cleaned the slate and they just built the entire team from scratch. Just bring it down and just build it up again. I think Delhi did that in one auction as well, but Delhi's been famous for letting go some really good players, including Vaughan and AB de Villiers, who are part of the game today with different teams. They've let those go, so let's not even talk about them back then. But could Hyderabad really do that? But Michael, Kane Williamson is a solid captain. He's proven his pedigree. I think he's also proven that he is a very good T20 player. He's had that 700-run season 2 years back. He, has different dimensions to his game. Do you think there are chances that they might not retain him?
I've no idea what they're thinking. I wouldn't be getting rid of Kane Williamson. I just think he offers so much. Yeah. And even if he's not scoring runs in and around the group, he offers plenty with his mindset. Strategically, he's a very, very smart, clever captain, real clever cricket brain. I think T20 cricket, of course, you need power. You need the players that can smack it miles out the ground. But I still feel in every side that there is one position that you need a Kane Williamson. You need a player. I call them players, those that can just manoeuvre the ball. Particularly on pitches, and we're seeing in lots of T20 tournaments where pitches deteriorate as the tournament progresses because pitches are being used. They're used for a second, third, fourth time. The 200 scores at the start come down to 180, then 160, and we're seeing 140s becoming quite competitive. And when the pitches start to deteriorate, I think you need more and more of a Kane Williamson style player that can just hand in, be very, very consistent. He's been consistent this year.
Yeah.
And his strike rate's not low. It's still up there. It's still up there at a decent rate. And if you can have a little bit of glue in a Kane Williamson style play, and then you have a firecracker around that style of play, you just need 2 or 3 to have a strike rate of 160, 180. And then you start to get to some very, very competitive scores. So I would not be getting rid of Kane Williamson.
And Lisa, also not getting rid of Rashid Khan, right? You don't want to let him go into the auction.
He is the number one pick, isn't he? Like, out of all T20 players, he's the guy that you want in your team because of what he can bowl in that middle period out of the power play. He has bowled and has been forced to bowl in the power play, and he's produced the goods. And plus, he plays a pretty good helicopter shot at the end. We haven't seen as much with his bat, but he's an entertainer. There's players that have their soul embedded in that franchise, and I feel like for Rashid Khan, it certainly is with Hyderabad.
I think you know the direction.
It's like do you know when you go to the pick and mix section of the suite at the services, and you go, he's the Coca-Cola bottle. Right, you go straight to the Coca-Cola and you make sure you get plenty of those in first.
Coca-Cola, right?
I go Coca-Cola.
Okay,
that's my first pick.
The little bottles, there's little
gummies.
I know what they are. Oh, that's not my first pick. Mine's the pineapple.
Which is your first pick?
The pineapples.
Yeah. Pineapple. Interesting.
Oh, look at the nose. Look at the nose.
No.
Okay, interesting.
No, that's the pineapple. The pineapples are not getting retained in my IPL. The Coca-Cola bottle, Rashid Khan, number one pick.
I want to tell you,
Gaurav, what's your number one?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Before the show began, I knew that there'd be
Are you going for those stringy things? You're going for the stringy things, aren't you? The what they call the licorice.
The licorice.
Licorice strings.
That sounds horrible, and it is.
Yeah.
Licorice is horrible. It's just really the worst.
Come on, tell us what you're picking.
Jelly babies.
I'm picking the orange sweet. Hyderabad. Whoa. The orange. I picked the hard-boiled orange. That's what I would pick first. I like that. Yeah. But we're saying
we're not impressed.
Yeah, is Orange picking the hard-boiled Kane Williamson and Rashid Khan in the next auction is what we're talking about. But can I tell you something? Before the show started, I said, we've got, representation from England and Australia. I'm sure they will have some disagreement on some topic. I had never guessed that it'll be about sweet selection at a service station. I would not even have put $1 Aussie on that coming through. But that's amazing, because when a game is kind of sort of dead, because this is kind of a dead rubber for Hyderabad, it is. For Bangalore, yes, they want to go to 1 and 2. But it just seems like this is not the high-octane game that you're really looking forward to this week. Come on, we know it. It's okay. We're not taking it personally. We didn't make this game, so it's fine. We know that. So that's why we have to keep throwing these little things. We've done the sweet. We'll do the spicy in a while as well. But right now, we'll tell you the sweet thing that Hyderabad has done. They're batting first. They have not changed their team. So they're going unchanged. They have decided that after all the mixing and matching of the sweetie packets in the service station, this is the selection that works for them. And Lisa, I like this team. It's a good team because they've got that thick middle with the youth, right? They've got Priyam Garg, Abhishek Sharma, Abdul Samad. If you remember last season, they kind of started with them. You thought that's what it'll be. Then they got broken up. Then some came, some didn't. 1, 2, and now they've got all three in there. I like that. I like seeing that. And then, of course, the solidity of Holder behind them.
Yeah, I think, and we saw early on, didn't we, the fact that Hyderabad, when they were kind of out of the equation, even when I think the last game they played where it was still mathematically available, they got rid of Vaughan and they just made household changes and they said, right, we're blooding the next generation. Let's see if they're good. Let's see if they're good enough at this level. And at some point, a franchise does have to put those players out in the middle. And for these guys, they've got a great opportunity with the big auction coming up to put their best foot forward and to really show not only Hyderabad, but other franchises that they're capable to play at this level. I'm really happy as well that Siddharth Kaur is kind of been given an opportunity. Like, he was a star only a few years ago. Changes of pace, what he was able to do with death bowling. Then he kind of lost his mojo, and now he's been given an opportunity again.
There was also Basil Thampi, if you remember, I think emerging player 4 seasons ago, 2017, emerging player, the young player, and toured with India as well. I think went for one series, never got to play, never got the cap, but he was part of the tour. And then he, along with Shrivats Goswami, is one of only 2 players that Hyderabad have not tried in this squad. So things can really turn sometimes for you. So it seems like they are. But out of the young players, Michael, if we're talking about, let's say, these 3, I think out of them, Abdul Samad is the only one who's shown a little bit of what he can do, even if it's just a couple of big hits. People have seen him. Abhishek is not, and Priyam would really want to forget the last game. Was it 13 of 23 was the last game that he played? Yeah, 21 of 31. Sorry, 21 of 31. He wants to forget that,
Yeah, I think that's why the IPL is special, because it's great exposure. It's a huge amount of pressure. And now you're looking at the Sunrisers. The pressure's on the individuals to perform because they know of that auction.
Yeah.
They know that auction is an opportunity for them. There'll be a few that are retained at the Sunrisers, but there's another 2 teams, so there's more opportunities for players to get picked. And I always believe in the IPL, you're only ever 1 innings or 1 bowling spell away from potentially earning a huge amount of money. So I look at someone like Jason Roy, I look at Jason Holder. I can't think that they'll get retained. So they'll be looking at their performance levels and wanting to do something special in the last game or 2 to make sure that when the auction comes about, first and foremost, they get picked up. I'm sure they will, but they've got to make sure they get picked up. And then it's which of the 5 or 6 franchises, if you can get 5 or 6 of them interested in you, you know that your numbers. People say, it's not all about the numbers. Of course it isn't. But when you're playing in a team that's losing, you suddenly start going, right, what can I do? What I can do is go and make sure that I put in such a good performance that my numbers do start to rise when the auction. What you need is paddles. When the auction comes, you can't just have 1 paddle. If you've just got 1 paddle going up, your value's low. You need 5 or 6 paddles.
Yeah.
And when the paddles start to be waved, you know that your figures are going to be very high. That's why I love the IPL, because even in a dead rubber, really, like today, there's not a huge amount on the game, but there's a huge amount on individuals' chances going forward. And that's why I don't ever think there's a complete dead rubber in the IPL because of that next auction. It's a huge amount of value to every single player.
And Lisa, there's nothing wrong with that, right? There's nothing wrong about a player trying to play for that with the eye on that prize.
No, you've got to look at what a professional cricketer's lifespan is. It's actually really, really small compared to how long they'll actually live. So I have no issues with players going for the big bucks, trying to put their best foot forward to earn as much as they can in their prime. And I don't think anyone should begrudge them for that.
All right, let's have a look at how you can make your team. Did we tell you about the Bangalore team? The Bangalore team has no changes as well. Let's have a look at that. Bangalore's got no changes as well, which is again strange because yesterday, Lisa, when we were speaking last night, we did say that they could perhaps look at getting Kyle Jameson or a Hasaranga, depending on conditions, for a Daniel Christian, who they're not getting that from, but they are just not wanting to disrupt this combination now.
No, sometimes it's all about the core group and everyone's happy. They know their role. And we mentioned last night about Dan Christian. He's just won so many T20 tournaments. They're just hoping, no doubt, they've got 2 more opportunities before the finals to actually get him to kickstart and do what he does best. So, brave call and good on them. They're showing a little bit of loyalty like Chennai do.
It's always good to have this kind of a battle-hardened, battle-weary, aged warhorse who's there, who you can really depend on when things come to a crunch towards the end of the tournament, because they are battling for 1 and 2. It is quite a serious fight.
Yeah. I mean, again, we don't know because we're not in that team of how much impact Dan Christian's having out on the field with Virat Kohli. You don't know what kind of little gems he's giving to Virat out in the middle tactically. Field settings, just little maneuvers that, we don't know what's happening. So from watching Dan Christian over the years, he just seems to be, I mean, they call him Siri because he knows everything. So I would want Siri out in the middle with me.
Yeah.
I would want that kind of character telling me a lot of information as a captain. And he has been like the lucky mascot, hasn't he? Wherever he's played, whether it's been in England, whether it's been in Australia.
CPL.
I think he went to Pakistan and the CPL, wherever he goes, he seems to be a part of successful T20 side. So I can completely understand why they want him in the side. He's getting a bit over the edge in terms of age, but he's probably got so much information inside that computer that it's worth having out in the middle, because I do think he's probably offering a lot of tactics out in the middle, which maybe the Royal Challengers Bangalore have not had in previous years. And maybe that's been the difference, that he's been giving them lots of information out in the middle to get them over the line when the game's got into quite a tight situation.
I think he worked his way back into the Australian team as well. Lisa, I may be paraphrasing here, but I think Justin Langer said something to the effect of he just wore me down. He just wore me down and worked his way back into the team.
Kept sending a message going, "Here, coach, I just won another title here if you need," type thing. And Justin Langer is the type of guy that goes, well, actually, it's a good point. He is winning lots of titles. Part of the Sydney Sixers, they won the Big Bash, so why not? Why not have this guy with experience?
Love it, man. Listen, it's an era of sales pitches. So if you've got to make one for yourself, you're going to make one for yourself. All right. We are not going to do any sales pitch here because you are waiting to make your team anyway. You go to my11circle.com, you download the app. I know you've already done that. Pick the game. That's the Bangalore and Hyderabad game today. 11 players, mix and match. There's some very good players on both sides. So it's going to be a tough ask. But if they do well on ground, your first prize, you can win up to 1 crore. So that is amazing. We, of course, will help you because it is a difficult selection today. So this is what we feel. Right? This is what we feel. So it's just these are my 11 circle smart picks for today. It's 3 of them: Glenn Maxwell, Yuzi Chahal, and Kane Williamson. All right. Why Maxwell? We just told you. We told you the story, but in case you want the numbers, here they are. Him versus spin this season. Why are we saying spin? Because, well, Hyderabad has some of it. Top draw stuff. So him versus spin has been good. Lisa, is he, there's always been this myth, right? Is that, can the Australians play spin? He's doing just fine.
Well, he just switch hits, doesn't he? He just turns around, bats like a left-hander and hits it for 6. No, he's good with spin. He picks up line and length really well. The thing for Maxi has always been he's always had all of the shots, and it's just trying to kind of go through and make sure that his shot selection is right on. And he's found a groove. He's matured over the years, and that's why he's so dangerous, because he can take an attack apart. And I'm looking forward to the battle with him and Rashid Khan, to be honest.
Yeah, that'll be fun. He's been in great form because he's been hitting 6s in Sharjah, and that's rare. Now imagine if I was saying this to you 1 year ago on the same day, you would have thought that I got a drink inside this. Yeah, I'm a little drunk or I'm a little cuckoo. But that's what Sharjah has been this season. Sharjah this season, just no sixes. Where do the sixes go? Sorry, no six for you. Yeah, but Glenn Maxwell seems to be the only guy who's hitting sixes over there. That's absolutely amazing. Really is. All right, let's look at Yuzi Chahal, because here's what has happened with Yuzi Chahal. Yuzi Chahal did not have a very good tournament when in the first installment, but then something strange happened a month before the a few weeks before the second installment, is that they decided not to pick Chahal in the India World Cup T20 team, right? Picked 5 spinners ahead of him. When we started this show in the second installment, we made a point to prove 11, and Chahal was one of the first names you wrote. I don't think he has any more points to prove, Michael. I think he has proven his point rather decisively.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see what conversations he and Virat has had over the last few weeks, because obviously Virat's the T20 captain. He's not picked him, and that point to prove is, it's always a very dangerous mentality when you come up against players that have got something to prove. And I am surprised that India haven't gone with him, because, you know, he's got that wicket-taking ability from 7 to 15. You know, the 7 to 15 over mark, I believe. The power plays are very, very important, but I just think 7 to 15 is such a crucial period in T20 cricket that if you've got wicket-taking options in that period, and also people that have been getting wickets and are confident doing so, that is where they, again, can be won and lost in many situations. So I am surprised he's not in. He's only doing what he can do, and that's get wickets. And I think it's October the 10th, in it, that they can wait till to maybe change their minds. And maybe he's done enough. You'll have to wait and see. But he's certainly a bowler that I would have in the top 5 spinners in the Indian T20 setup. I'm surprised that he's not.
Here's how important he is, because Bangalore has played 5 games now in this second installment in the UAE. They've not taken a wicket in the power play in any of those 5 games. And you know that Chahal comes in to bowl the 7th. He's pretty much, you know, the card that you throw in the 7th over. He almost does that. So that his wickets then become even more important, because it's important to study statistics in context as well, right? So it's not like they're going after him because they've had a shoddy kind of run up to his over. They've had good power plays. People playing against them have had a 50, 55 run power play. Yet, so average of 55. Yet he comes in and gets that wicket. So it becomes even more important. I think that Chahal is perhaps asking Dan Christian to send the WhatsApp message that he sent Langus. Can I just copy it and send it to Virat and Ravi? Brother, can I just copy paste and do that? It's even when you see it in this light, Lisa, his wickets and his contribution become even more important.
Yeah, and selectors will be looking at context. That's what they tend to do a lot of the time anyway. And maybe his form up until the team was selected, obviously the first part you put up that graphic wasn't good in India, but he has proven his point. And it would be bitterly disappointing if he wasn't part of the side based on his now. Holy smokes, Gaurav.
See how cool I am.
I can see the flash of light as well. Yeah,
you did, right?
Yeah.
This is just, okay, I've got to be really honest with you. I have my production team here. We're just practicing a little bit of CGI. That's all.
Okay.
Just that. But that's really loud. I just want to say, if this is the last show we ever do, because it does seem like the world is ending, at least in India, then it's been really fun collaborating with all of you. And big love to all the viewers. Yes, did we completely lose our train of thought? We were on Chahal, right? We were just
I think the gods in India are not happy that he's not playing, so they're making their voices heard, huh? So get him in.
Really are. They really are. So you must get him into your team if you're making it on My 11 Circle. The third player that we feel really should be in your team as well is Kane Williamson. We spoke about him, and Michael was mentioning his strike rate. Look at it. He likes batting against Bangalore, except in Sharjah. Is it Sharjah this season? Has it been? No, this is the previous season, wasn't it? Yeah, this was one of those dismal games for them. But otherwise, look at him. He's always been good. He's always been good, even in Hyderabad. You understand in Bangalore him being close to 200 and 160, But even in Hyderabad's a bigger ground, slower pitch, but he seems to score them at a fair clip there as well, Michael, to your point.
Yeah, and also Abu Dhabi today, it's a bigger kind of outfield, so I expect him to kind of manoeuvre the ball into the spaces to get twos. He's high class. I think it doesn't matter how good you are and what your record is. It's always nice when you arrive and you've got previous history against a certain side. It just gives you that energy of knowing that you can play against this opposition. I used to arrive at Bristol to play Gloucester, and I may have well not even got on the bus. I could not get a run in Bristol, so I don't even know why I went to Bristol. I just couldn't. Gloucester. I played for England there against Australia a couple of times in one. I just could not get a run in Bristol. And as much as you have positive kind of mindsets against certain teams that you've done well against, it's completely the opposite when you have negative against certain teams. So Bristol, I actually don't like Bristol. Full stop. I wouldn't advise anyone goes to Bristol.
Coffee,
just never.
Good coffee places. Very nice cafes.
Really?
Oh,
Lisa.
no, seriously.
Poor Lisa Bristol. Yeah.
I'd
Very
said
close
this to
to
Michael,
Australian coffee
Do you like
places.
I said this to Michael last time he was talking about Bristol, that I was there the day that England qualified for the semi-final of the FIFA World Cup 2018.
That's right.
Even I would say that don't go to Bristol.
That's right.
It's just scary. They were naked. They were big naked guys throwing statues in the town square into the canal. It was just, I don't know.
Jeez.
I was like,
okay.
this is a bit, I mean, I'm Punjabi,
bit
but that's
much.
just way too rowdy for me. Yeah, just way too rowdy for me. But Michael, what is the Australian ground that you don't like going to?
Brisbane.
Yeah.
You're just like KP. He hates Brisbane.
Brisbane. No, I actually like Brisbane.
Hate the ground.
But I just didn't get any runs in Brisbane. I didn't get any in the test match, and I think Shane Bond got me out first ball in a one-day game, a little big swinging in-swinger. But I actually like Brisbane.
Okay,
I'm not
right.
like KP. I don't think KP ever wants to go to Brisbane again. So I like the place. I just it's daunting as an English player going to that venue. That crowd, they're a bit different, aren't
They're
they?
a little bit different.
A little bit. I'm not too sure. I'm not too sure whether they're normal up there, but they're different.
Do you think it's something to do with like Brisbane? You don't like Brisbane. You don't like Bristol. You don't like
actually.
toothbrushes because they have bristles. I don't know. What's the sitch? Sitch here, man.
Bristol cream.
Something is up. But Lisa, is any Ashes game happening in Brisbane? Is it scheduled for? Is the Ashes scheduled first up? Is the Ashes happening? What's going on? Is the Ashes happening?
Yeah.
Is it happening?
The Ashes is happening. Yes, we finally got confirmation. Yes.
Is it official confirmation or is it just good vibes confirmation?
Has the board met, Michael? They were saying the ECB board
No.
have still got the power to.
I'll give. Yeah. I'll give you a heads up. It was all very positive yesterday.
Oh, that's when you tweeted.
Most papers reported that the series that is going to go ahead, and it will. I think most papers reported that Joe Root would be on that plane, and then today there's been a little bit of a negative kind of reaction saying, "Oh, nothing's official yet." It will happen. Joe Root will be on that plane. Whether the whole team are on that plane, we'll have to wait and see. I think Cricket Australia and the government are doing everything they possibly can to try and make the family visit as easy as possible. So I do believe that England are getting everything that they asked for. I believe England have got to get on that plane. I think every single player. The Ashes is the most special series of them all. And they must realise that if they're going to play one series this winter, my belief is, and look, I might be called old school and a dinosaur, they can call me what they want. But if I was an England cricketer now, I'm looking at this winter T20 World Cup, there's another one next year. Going to the Caribbean at the end of January, March. If you're going to do 10 weeks of real toughness, do it in Australia and go and play in the Ashes series. Because when you finish, you'll regret, if you're one of those players that only happens to play one Ashes series away from home, at least you've done it. And if you finish in 10 years' time and you look back and go, I did not go to Australia playing an Ashes series because of the pandemic, because there was a few little areas of concern about the family visit or worried about being away from home so long, I think all players will regret that in time. You know, I'm a has-been, 12 years away from playing the game, but I know how important an Ashes series. And the older you get, the more you realise it's very, very important. So I hope the players realise that. I get the feeling that they're just playing a bit hardball, so they get a bit more in terms of relaxation when they get there and they've done the quarantine to get outside of the bubble. I think that's quite important for the players, particularly England players, who for 18 months have been pretty much in a bio bubble. So when Tim Payne came out and spoke I didn't think he showed much empathy towards the England team. I don't think he realises what this England team has gone through. And I don't think that's gone down particularly well with the England players, and understandably. You know, I do think the England players will get on the plane. I hope so. I mean, if I was trying to negotiate for the England players, I would be trying to make sure that they don't go to Brisbane, they don't go to Perth, because they're the two venues that we can't win at. No, I'll be trying to negotiate Sydney, maybe. Yeah, wherever. Maybe have another day-night game in Adelaide, because I think England can win with a pink ball. I try and clear out Brisbane, and I try and clear out Perth, because those two venues where it's quick and bouncy, I don't give England any chance. So let's get rid of Brisbane. Let's get rid of Perth. Let's play another one in Adelaide, and let's play in Hobart. England can win the Ashes.
That's how he's managed to get it. He's just diverted everything.
Yeah, just twisted.
Oh, clever. I like it. But we need the Ashes to happen, I think, as cricket fans. And listen, we Indian fans have no dog in the fight, but want Ashes to happen, because that's just, it's a thing. The winter will feel so incomplete without them having. I mean, I live in Mumbai. There is no winter, but still, the winter months will just feel really weird if you don't wake up, put the telly on, and get an Ashes game on it. So, well, I hope they happen for all cricket fans.
Has it ever snowed in... Gaurav, has it ever snowed in Mumbai?
No, it hasn't even snowed in Delhi, which is 2 hours up north by flight.
Never.
No, never. Never. It can't. It's tropical. It's like Singapore with the same line as Singapore.
Not the same line as Singapore.
Just a little above, perhaps.
I'm sure when I land in Singapore, I'm going up.
Like that.
Let me just. I'm gonna.
What kind of line are you?
I'm gonna see already Singapore latitude, right? And then I'm gonna see Mumbai latitude and see where they are. We're not too much up.
It's Mate, you're not on the same line. You're not on the same line.
Like that.
We're on the Piccadilly line. Like we're on the same line. We're on the Piccadilly line. Next stop. All right. Our next stop is the joy factor question. Let's see what he's done today. Long form, short form. Oh, short form. If Tony Greig was the 14th cricketer to achieve this feat in Test cricket, who was the 8th? And what specific feat did they accomplish? Geez, even Dan Christian doesn't know the answer to this one. It's just no.
Do you ever get these, Michael?
No idea.
Have you ever looked at them and gone, oh, yeah, I know this one?
No.
Lisa, I'll be honest with you. When the joy factor question comes on, I kind of shut my eyes and I kind of just have one of those moments that I just separate myself from the show.
I think that's a smart way to do it. Yeah.
Oh man, the thing is, the joy.
Yeah, just move.
Joy's questions are so complicated and so nicely disguised that you both could be the answer to one of those questions, and you still wouldn't know. You just be like, "Well, it was me. I did that." Yeah, that's how good they are. But well, I guess they are un-Siri and un-Googleable, and that's the whole idea. That's why it is one of the toughest in the business. So #Cricbuzz Live. Tweet us your answers, and let's see if anybody gets this right. Our score predictions, which is the most important game within the game. They're playing in Abu Dhabi. Hyderabad batting first, being sent in by Virat. What do you think the scores will be? 75, 80? I don't know. Yesterday, that would have been a good guess. I'm just too scared to go beyond 130 now.
I'm going to go 147. Tough, I know.
Okay. I'll go 155.
Wow, you guys
155.
Big, huh? So I'll go above it then, I guess. So I'll go 164 then.
You don't want to go lower? Chicken?
Where? Then I'll have to go like 130 or something, right? Yeah, I really am tired of these low-scoring games. I really want... Can you imagine? I'm saying I'm tired of low-scoring games and I'm okay with a 160 game. That's how much this season's pitches have scarred us. Right? please give us a high octane 160 game. So I'm saying I'm sticking with 164. That's it. So that's my guess. All right, I have to go do some research now on Singapore's latitude and Mumbai's latitude. I will come back with those answers and plenty more in Cricbuzz Combox, which is going to be at the end of the 10th over. We're going to see you then. A big thank you to Michael Vaughan and Lisa Sthalekar. Thank you so much. You were watching Cricbuzz Live in association with our fantasy partner, My 11 Circle. I'm Gaurav Kapur. See you in a bit.